And we're staying with that story. The Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa is gearing up for its final voter registration weekend and says more than 23,000 stations across the country will be opened between 8 a.m. as well as 5 p.m. Home Affairs have also announced that it will be extending its operating hours by at least 2 hours this weekend in order to allow people to collect or apply for their ID documents. IEC CEO Mr. Mamabolo is here to tell us more. Mr. Mamabolo, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Look, talk to us about the readiness of the IEC as the final voter registration commences this weekend.
Well, we're quite happy that our plans are intact. They are holding strong, and we are ready to receive South Africans tomorrow morning from 8 when the stations open right through until 5 on both days. This is an important weekend.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I was saying this is a very important weekend because it's an opportunity for those that still remain unregistered to make sure that they register and be part of the political process of the country. And this is also important insofar as it allows for those that are already registered an opportunity to confirm the correctness of their details, given that in this election, you are going to vote at the voting station in which you are registered. That is the general rule, unless you pre-notify us about your intention to vote elsewhere. But otherwise, the general rule is that you vote at the station where you register. So it's important that even those that are registered, they confirm the station where they're going to be voting come election day.
Now, we understand that the ease of technology has really simplified the process during the application process, but technology is often accompanied by technical glitches, where systems can really crash. Have all these issues been looked into, and what are the current provisions in place in the likelihood of such occurring at any of your 23,000 stations across the country?
Precisely because we are subject to the vagaries of the internet and related technologies. Our VMD functions offline. In other words, when it can't connect to any of our central databases, it functions offline. The process doesn't have to stop. We take all the details that we need to take from you on the local machine and later on transmit them to the central database once we have connection. So in that scenario, there's no showstopper. Even as we are subject to the vagaries of the internet, we have the capability to continue servicing people and operate offline.
And where these registration stations are communities aware of where they are stationed?
Oh, certainly. Most of them, 62%, are schools within communities, and then about 28% are community halls, libraries, and features such as those.
And what are some of the numbers so far on registered voters versus those who are eligible to vote but have not yet registered? And what is the impact then of their decision not to exercise their democratic rights?
We just surpassed the 27 million, is the first for the country. We are quite happy about that. And Stats SA indicated to us that 38 people are eligible to vote. In other words, they are 18 years and older. But really, the test for us is, have we placed sufficient facilities to allow people to register and to vote? And the answer is yes, at 23,000 sites throughout the country. We are mindful of the fact that South Africa uses a voluntary system of voting. In other words, the whole 38,000 we can never expect that totality to participate in the election because people make choices. And part of the choices that they make is that I'm not going to participate in the political process. I'm not going to be voting. Of course, is that which we do not want to see as the Commission. And we are pulling all stops, which is why we appreciate even opportunities such as this to address every citizen of the country. We're talking to them on social media, we're talking to them through community radio stations, and SABC radio, commercial radio. We're pulling all stops to ensure that we communicate to every eligible person.
And Sai, maybe in closing, are those with temporary identification cards eligible to register to vote at this point?
Yes, indeed. I see Mr. Mavuso is online. He can speak at length about that. But indeed, a temporary identification certificate are competent for purposes of registering. So if you lose your ID, you visit Home Affairs and they will place you in possession of a temporary identification certificate which can be used for registration purposes.
All right. Now, we know that experts as well as South Africans living abroad registered last week, and about 2 million were expected to register to participate in the upcoming polls. Why is their vote important, Sai, and how was that turnout?
Well, we have just under 30,000 South Africans who are on the international segment of the voters' roll. What we are happy about is that those compatriots have been given an opportunity to register. They can continue registering, by the way, online until the date on which the president proclaims the election date. So as a commission, we are meeting our constitutional responsibility of availing facilities for all South Africans, even those that are outside of the Republic, to allow them to register and therefore to vote when an election is proclaimed.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That is Mr. Sai Mamabolo, the IEC CEO, on the IEC's final voter registration weekend commencing from today.